react to them.
Mm-hmm.
The fans have you kind of gotta have to do it how they did with Enzo and Cass. Enzo and Cass just made a name for themselves, by talking and just their character. So when they came up, they got that big reaction. But when you have teams like the Vaudevillains and you have the Ascension and you have Bo Dallas, Adam Rose, these guys who
even Neville,
even Apollo Crews right now, these guys who come up here had a big following down in NXT because NXT is small. NXT has that indie crowd scene feeling. Mm-hmm. And, you bring them up here to the big leagues, and they don't get the same reaction because the kids are not watching the WWE Network.
Exactly. Take one instance, one that just was recently released, Adam Rose. He was huge in NXT with the whole Party Express. I remember when they had his debut, and people were just scratching their heads who is this guy? He's kind of ridiculous. And then he asked for his release, and now he's doing the indie scene again, but he's huge in the indie scene. People actually want to go see him.
Yep. People will see him, they'll want to see him because he's been a part of WWE, just like Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes and the other people that have been released from WWE. They'll go see them if they're in the indies.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard for someone to come up from NXT and just get that approval. Like Finn Balor is going to get it.
Oh, yeah, of course. Especially with the whole demon gimmick when he comes out sometimes with that.
Finn Balor will get it. Samoa Joe will get it. Bobby Roode's been in TNA and it's come over here, but who knows how people would react to his character?
Same with Austin Aries. I mean, he really doesn't have much of a gimmick. He's just a great wrestler, which we appreciate and we love, but to like you said, the average WWE fan, they want something bigger, and they want to have a you can't see me type gimmick or something that caters to the kids or something that's interesting. And if he doesn't have it, he's just going to be down in the mid card or jobbing every week on Raw.
If the person that I feel even better than both of those guys that should get this fanfare is Nakamura because of the character he is and because how he wrestles. If he doesn't get it, fans really need to reevaluate how they watch wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Agreed, 100%.
Get the network. For $10, get the network and start watching what's going on here.
Agreed. With that, let's take a quick break. When we come back,
we got a lot. We got to get into the final deletion and the little parody that the WWE put forward with the Wyatts and the New Day. Also, I want to get a little political.
Okay, whoa.
We're going to get a little political on our show because I am voting for Darren Young. I want to see Darren Young great again. We will talk about that when we come back on Ringside Rumble Radio here on Spreaker.com, free on iTunes, and now on iHeartRadio.
Imagine a world where bullying isn't considered a normal part of childhood.
A world where I'm not afraid to go to school.
To speak out.
To be myself.
Loser.
A world where I'm not afraid to be caught alone.
Come on, punk.
We have the power to stop the bullying. Speak out.
Speak up.
Educate.
Find out what to look for and how you can make a difference at bullying.org.
Bullying is not kids being kids.
It's not about good homes or bad homes.
It's not a normal part of growing up. I shouldn't be afraid to get on the school bus.
To turn on my computer.
Or walk to my locker. Did you know that a bully will stop his or her behavior in 10 seconds when their peers speak up?
Use your voice.
Hey, leave him alone. We have the power to stop bullying.
Find out more at bullying.org.
Bullying.org.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
Ringside Rumble Radio here on Spreaker.com, free on iTunes, and now on iHeartRadio. Anthony the Ant-Man alongside Keith Logan, the Loganator, and I said, before we went to break, I wanted to bring politics.
You gotta be that guy, man. Come on.
I gotta be that guy, man. And I'm not talking about Hillary Clinton being endorsed by Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump picking his vice president and making America great again. Mm-hmm. I'm about one thing, and that's making Darren Young great again. And the great job that Bob Backlund has done, the Hall of Famer, with making Darren Young great again, and now the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, my friend.
Can I say one thing? Kudos to Bob Backlund lifting Darren Young up in that ring the other night.
Did you? I saw, and he carried him into the back.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was like, wow.
He is a strong man.
Very strong.
Mr. Bob Backlund. Yes. I love the suspenders. I love the bow tie. I love it all.
That's been his character for as long as I can remember right now.
This has made Darren Young more relevant than he has ever been. Mm-hmm. If you heard the fans cheer for him on Monday Night Raw, might have something here. We might just have something with Darren Young, and I could see him beating The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship.
That would be nice, getting his first singles title. I mean, he's been, for a while, he's been in the primetime players, and then he got hurt, and then he kind of was jobbing left to right, and now this angle, I think, is what he needs. It's what the doctor ordered. Why not pair him with a Hall of Famer like Bob Backlund, who can speak and motivate the crowd?
Mr. Bob Backlund.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Bob Backlund.
I forgot the Mr. part. My apologies.
Bob Backlund looks great still, man.
Yeah, I know. How old is he now? He's got to be. He's close. He's got to be close to his 70s, I would say, right?
Still running, man.
Still
running. Like the Energizer Bunny.
He keeps going and going and going.
Well, yeah, Darren Young gets his title shot, making him a little more relevant. Hopefully becomes even more relevant during the brand split when we actually get to see some of these guys that probably get buried get a push.
And it'd be nice. And one person who's probably kicking himself right now would be Mr. Ryback. If you remember how he made all those comments. And
He's
then he
just
was
sitting on the shelf right now.
I guess they're just waiting to...
release?
Will they dust him off or will they release him, you think?
I don't know.
I think he might go... Well, he's made those comments with TNA and all, so maybe Vince McMahon would just be like, you know what? Have fun, TNA. Speaking of TNA, how about that final deletion?
I only saw the first about 5 minutes, and then I saw the ending. I didn't get to see the ultimate director's cut version of the final deletion.
You
which
missed
I am
the
gonna
director's
have to
cut?
Check, but I'm watching the beginning. Jeff Hardy's mowing his lawn, and then out of nowhere, the little drones come out, and Matt Hardy comes up on a little screen. I'm like, is this like we're going Star Wars up in this joint? And then
Brother Nero. His accent is just ridiculous, but I can't stop listening to him when he speaks.
Man, those two, man, they, for as much as you killed them, they just gave Pop their highest ratings ever.
I know, I saw that. I couldn't believe.
What do you got to say about that, buddy?
They actually were smart because you know how a lot of times they have their TV their tapings. So
yes.
People broadcast on the internet what happened, who won what match. They decided we're not going to air this at the tapings. We're just going to add this on right at the end of the show and have people just tune in and push this. And kudos to them. It worked because they got more ratings. It was a little bit off the end, a little ridiculous, but you got to give them credit for thinking outside of the box. I mean... You have this ring in the middle of their Matt Hardy's compound, wherever you want to call it, his estate. And then he's shooting fireworks out at Jeff Hardy, and they're using weapons. He has his little gardener trick him and has Willow. It was crazy to watch. The drones just had
Blew your mind?
It blew my mind, especially, like you said, when his face shows up and he starts talking. I was like, what is this? This is ridiculous. It's like batteries not included. There's like the little guys flying around, that old 80s movie. But you got to give him credit where it was due.
Ratings gold for TNA and the Hardy Boys, who you've been killing week in, week out. They proved to be the highest rated thing on Pop TV. So high that, of course, Vince McMahon, the WWE, had to do a parody and have the New Day go to Bray Wyatt's compound for a fight, which was not great. Mm-hmm. It was an interesting fight. The cinematography was good. but I don't know if it lived up to the Final Deletion. I mean, you could watch the Final Deletion on the Sci-Fi Channel after Sharknado or something and just have a good fun laugh at it. Maybe that's what TNA needs. Maybe they need to fool around. They've been made a joke of. Why not just go with it?
I know. It seems like maybe they have found lightning in a bottle with this whole Final Deletion. Why not run with it and see what else they can do? So
2 weeks in a row now, TNA has done some pretty good things. First, the Final Deletion, giving them the highest ratings in pop history. And then the introduction of Moose, who I thought originally was going to be in the WWE.
Yeah, there was talks about going to NXT, possibly going when the draft split. And he said, last I read an article, he said he did not sign with TNA. He only talked with TNA. So I was like, okay, here we go. WWE probably snagged another one. And then all of a sudden, was it Tuesday night? They were live. And all of a sudden you see Moose come out and he even gets the chant going on and all, which is good for them. And I
think it's also good for him.
It's good for him as well, but it's also good for them because they're actually getting more talent that's worthy of watching, I guess you could say. And also the indie talent where people have a strong following. It's not just, oh, here's another wannabe WWE superstar that came who couldn't cut the mold in the WWE, so we'll pick him up now.
Well, and also, he's made a name for himself as Moose.
Yes.
And if he went straight to WWE, you know they were going to change his name around.
Of course.
You know, they would probably call him like Bear or something, or change some garbage around. But he goes to TNA. Now he can make even more of a name for himself in TNA, and then maybe make the jump to WWE.
And I'm really pushing for TNA. Now they're supposed to be moving to Thursday nights, I believe.
Smart move, moving to Thursday nights. Now they don't have to deal with the whole SmackDown Live situation. And they, of course, Wednesdays is NXT and now the Cruiserweight Classic. So that will be a full week of wrestling we kind of getting right now. This is pretty good.
And there's still talks that somebody's going to come and help financially, maybe buy the company. So maybe that might help them with
the only good thing about TNA right now is Billy Corgan.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's the one. I think he's been putting a ton of money of his own money in to this company,
helping out with the Final Deletion, putting the group together with Abyss and Crazy Steve and the girl
Rosemary.
Yep, I mean some of his best work.
So hopefully, I would like. I'm pushing for this in the next 5 years that we have another war, like a Monday Night War type of deal. Like TNA can get to that point where they can actually compete with WWE on that high of a level.
I think it's too late for any wars because now WWE is starting to pick off from the indie scene.
So you got to do the same thing then. Start picking off the indie scene.
What does TNA have to offer, though? Besides a light schedule.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. The light schedule. I mean, they don't really tour that much. They were trying to, and then I think they were losing money from it. I think they canceled like twice or 3 times for the India tour because they ran out of money.
They need a huge star from WWE to jump camp. They need someone big.
They need somebody like...
if Daniel Bryan ever decided that he would, but, he's kind of...
He's like
now.
He's like a WWEer for life, I think.
Yeah, like a Randy Orton or they need one of those top tier level guys to just jump ship, and that's why WCW got that successful because they had Hall and Nash come in, mess up things, then they turned Hogan heel, and then like a whole bunch of the WWE guys came over and created havoc.
And then you had that Monday Night Nitro, the first one, and Lex Luger just came out of nowhere and was just standing there with his hands on his hips.
Yeah, that's what they're going to need to happen. Speaking of Daniel Bryan, I don't know. I watched the bracketology. Did you get a chance to watch the Cruiserweight Classic bracketology?
No, it's on my list.
To see him and Mauro Ranallo next to each other talk with so much joy about this Cruiserweight Classic put a smile on my face. These two guys are going to be calling the action for the Cruiserweight Classic. Mauro Ranallo Daniel Bryan. What a gift.
Doesn't
from
get
the